Hello and what is up everyone, it's Brutal Chaos. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be checking out another video that I thought was awesome by one of my favorite YouTubers, Bricky. This is going to be every single Apex Legend explained part 1. So we're definitely going to watch this whole video. Like I said, I've been getting back into Apex Legend. I'm a huge gamer on top of loving the Warhammer stuff and everything like that. So hope you enjoy the video. Like I said, man, Bricky really knocks this stuff out of the park. So definitely support the original content, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for smashing the like button. And thank you for being awesome and leaving your comments and recommendations. So let's pull this up. Like I said, man, I've been going hard on some Apex, so I want to see what he has to say. And I can give my point of view because I've been playing for a while. Like, I played the first 2 seasons. I quit for a while. I don't know, man. Like, I didn't like some of the changes they made. And then I've come back recently, man. It's been going off, so I've been enjoying it. So it's literally the only battle royale I like. So I feel like most of them I just don't care for. Sorry if that, hurts anyone else's feelings. I'm not big into Warzone and things like that. So let me know what's your favorite battle royale down below. Let's do this. See what Bricky has to say. Awesome guy.
Hello everybody, my name is Bricky, currently having existential thoughts from stealing from that Marvin in Titanfall 2. Therapy hasn't helped. A bit ago, I made this video. It did well.
Yes, it did. Dude, you killed
little.
it, bro.
I was thinking about making
He
another
deserves
one.
it.
It's kind of fun. Cover different kinds of topics. Another Warhammer one? No, I'm on Adeptus Ridiculous, so I'm not really like needing anything like that. What should I make something on? And I thought, well, what's...
Their videos are awesome too. Check out Adeptus Ridiculous, man. I recommend check it out. If you've never heard of Warhammer and you're an Apex person, man, I give it a chance. Like, I didn't know anything about Warhammer and then started watching it. It's freaking awesome. So give it a chance. Don't knock it till you watch it and try it.
Something I'm doing a lot of right now. Apex. And Titanfall.
That's right.
But Apex. You know what's pretty hot right now?
Me too.
Apex. Should I do an every single legend in a nutshell video for Apex? I think I should. Apex is soaring to the moon in popularity right now, both for me and for so many other people. They are hot, hot, hot right now, and I thought it was a perfect time to go ahead and bring back the little nutshell video style on something that is, well, not only
I like it already,
but I think something that's kind of perfect for it. See, for me, I played Titanfall 1. I stayed up late at night at an old GameStop midnight release. Remember those?
Those were the days, man. Dude, I miss Titanfall. I actually downloaded Titanfall 2 here recently and played it again, too. And for all the people that play Apex, if you didn't know, they took most of the weapons and some of the movement from Titanfall 2 and put it into Apex. I think they were going to make a Titanfall 3 is what I heard rumored. And then they switched and then they moved it to the Apex. And they just kind of like... we're like, we'll give this a shot because I seen the Battle Royale was the thing, and man, it went off. Like I said, it's really fun, man. I know a lot of people that don't like Apex, but man, it takes a lot of skill, and it's got a learning curve, but it's a great game.
I do. It was a school day the day after that. I suffered for a little bit of Titanfall 1. I enjoyed it. Didn't play it a huge amount. Enjoyed it regardless. Titanfall 2 came out. Oh my god, what an insanely good game. Can't speak highly of it. Oh my god, it's fantastic. Apex came out. Played it. Really liked it. Stopped playing it. Played it a little bit more. Started to not like it. Turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off. Loba came out. Turned on. Goes to Season 8. Fuse comes out. Hey, Apex is looking pretty good again. And now...
That's true. Like, they've... there was like... for me, Season 3, when Season 3 dropped and Crypto came out, and they came out with the New World, or the New World's Edge map, like, I did not like it at first. Did not like the way it was, did not like the way it felt, because it just felt so long-range based. And, I mean, I like sniping and stuff, but it felt like you had to play one way, like the charge rifles, the longbows. A lot of people were using the OP G7, man. I remember that. I mean, I like the G7 now, but, man, it was broken. Like, it would just slap kids, and it was just all long range, man. People camping on towers. Like, they removed that tower on New World's Edge that was, like, right there in the middle of the map that everybody would sit up on, and the circle would be, like, right there, and you'd have to try to get past that or whatever to get to the other side, man. It was annoying.
Now, Apex is looking really good again.
It
Big
is.
Titanfall fan in me.
They're bringing the fun back.
Valkyrie is Viper's daughter. Viper doesn't really have a huge role in Titanfall 2, but was a very memorable character and a very memorable boss fight. Okay, we got Ashes returning. There's a new game mode. There's new weapons. Everything's...
I love arenas, by the way. I'm sorry to keep cutting Bricky off. I'm just giving my opinion. But, man, so far this video is awesome. His quality and his content is amazing. But arenas, I love. Let me know if you love arenas or not down below as well. Because, man, I love the 3v3. I kind of like when I start playing, like before I go into ranked, I've been doing again. I said, let me know if you play, because I need people to play ranked with. So I've been trying to find people. Just leave me a comment, anything. I've been trying to grind that back. I just started the other day, and I'm almost to plat. So I'm trying to get the diamond. I would love to get the masters. We'll see. Man, it's so hard with randoms. Randoms are garbage. Let's put it that way. And they always have been.
Season 8 Fuse comes out. Hey, Apex is looking pretty good again. And now Apex is looking
I love Fuse.
really good again.
The people
Big
that play
Titanfall
them, though,
fan in
sometimes
me
are
sees
trash,
Valkyrie,
though.
Viper's daughter. Viper doesn't really have a huge role in Titanfall 2, but was a very memorable character in a very memorable boss fight. Okay, we got Ashes returning. There's a new game mode. There's new weapons. Everything's going crazy. Right now, it feels like a great time to play Apex. But Bricky, you may ask, I don't play Apex much, and I don't understand Apex. What are the Apex games, and who are the people in them? That's what I'm here to help you out with. I'm going to give you every single Apex Legend in a nutshell video, go through the first half of the Legends, because I want to save the second half for when Valkyrie comes out, and tell you more about the Apex games and the Titanfall lore that surrounds it.
So yeah, this is like, after this, I'm going to stop pausing, and I'm going to let y'all, like, see my reaction to what he's saying about these characters. But I just want to say one last thing, like, when it comes to the Legends before he speaks. They do tie into the, like I said, the Titanfall universe, and he's going to go over that. But if you start playing and you're new, the abilities are so major that I recommend you go into the firing range or play arenas. Play arenas, it'll give you a feel of the game. Learn the guns, learn the weapons, and learn the abilities, and see which fits your playstyle. See which ones you like. Some people like a few characters, like I have a main. Like I like Wraith a lot. Like I also like Bloodhound. Who else do I run sometimes? Like Pathfinder's pretty good that I like to use. I've never used like Watson or that. I mean, they're very good. Just not my playstyle. I like speed and to freaking get in there. I like Octane. He's pretty good. Like I said, they're all good in their own ways. So learn which characters you like.
Here to help you out with. I'm going to give you every single Apex Legend in a nutshell video, go through the first half of the Legends, because I want to save the second half for when Valkyrie comes out, and tell you more about the Apex games and the Titanfall lore that surrounds it. So with that said, let's talk about the Apex games and how it all came about.
Yep.
Our sci-fi story takes place in the Frontier, a collection of planets and solar systems far out into the reaches of the galaxy. Initially, this was colonized by the Interstellar Manufacturing Corporation, also known as the IMC. And the IMC made some pretty crazy strides in the fields of both space travel and in different kinds of technology, between the Marvin robots, the eventual creation of the gigantic Titan chassis, which wasn't always a military vehicle. Titans were originally used for many other things, like the loaders and aliens, being able to move things around, agriculture, even some science stuff in areas that deemed a little too dangerous for regular people. But of course, as you will soon see, there'll be plenty of uses for military soon. The IMC was making headway. They were terraforming planets, creating colonies. They even had a GI Bill for men and women to have homes given to them for their military service on these new frontier planets. As much of a contradiction as it is, the IMC was being a pretty great mega corporation at the time. Fortunately, the people back at Earth, or also known as the Core Worlds, weren't too pleased with all of the attention that the Frontier Worlds were getting by the IMC. It started off with just some annoyances, then riots, to a full-blown civil war of the Core Worlds. This had the IMC drop everything in the Frontier Worlds, abandon all of their colonies and all of their people, and skedaddle back. 30 or so years later, with the Civil War ended, the IMC came back to the frontier, where they found that their colonies had not just survived, but fully thrived. Everyone there had resources aplenty, land aplenty, people were happy, they were employed, they were working hard. Each of the planets were operating at excellent capacity.
That's
Things
amazing.
were better than the IMC could ever have hoped for. So you know what they did? They said, we set this up, therefore we claim authority and claim ownership of all these planets. Give us your shit.
Basically, I want to say one thing. Like right now, freaking Titanfall 2 has a pretty good player base, man. So if you are a like OG Apex player, you should go back and check out some Titanfall 2, man. Like I said, the Hemlock's in there, the Mastiff, the R301 basically is in there. The Volt, I think, is in there. I mean, a lot of the guns, the grapple from freaking Pathfinder, which I think it's a little bit better in that game because it's faster, which they had to make it balanced for Apex. But man, go back, and even if you don't like it, just try it and see. Be like, man, oh, this is where all this stuff comes from. Like, and they took it and like made Apex games out of the freaking out of the game, which in the Apex Predators and IMC was two of the factions that you played in the multiplayer in the game. So it's pretty sweet that they made Apex Legends out of that.
We set these up so we stake claim to your resources, your people, and your homes. And they went and they sucked it dry. A militia, the Frontier Militia, of course, rose up to fight to the IMC. And in this time, it was damn hard. The IMC, of course, were the people who created the jump drive to even go faster than light to begin with. They were significantly more powerful in military and tech. But the militia, using guerrilla tactics, being really smart, even getting some defectors and even Titan pilots from the IMC, were able to start building up their own little militia force. And it wasn't until the end of Titanfall 1, which was the Battle of Demeter, when things really turned, when the militia was able to take out an IMC refueling station back to the core worlds, heavily crippling their military and their movement potential. Move on over to Titanfall 2. The Frontier Militia versus IMC wars are still going on. However, they're a lot more equal match now due to that Battle of Demeter. There's a lot more of like an organized force. This is turning into a real army, not just a militia. The events of Titanfall 2 took place, large amounts of battles in between each other. Eventually, the IMC attempting to literally commit genocide on one of the militia worlds through the use of something called a fold weapon, which was old alien technology that was, kind of lost. Not really important. Play Titanfall 2. It's a fantastic campaign.
It's amazing. Play the Titanfall 2 campaign.
Who was the leader of the Apex Predators mercenary pilot group, was serving the IMC at the time, or being paid by the IMC to help.
And he is an a-hole.
Help them fight off the militia. Once all is done and done, Cuban Bliss, of course, pops his little card over to Jack Cooper, your main character, and then bails because he's a mercenary. He's there to make money. He doesn't really give a shit. Point being, full weapon destroyed, IMC and militia war over. IMC massively devastated by this. Militia massively devastated. Truth be told, both of them were just, it was like crushed. Two boxers fainting at the end of a fight. They were just completely destroyed, both their armies, resources, and honestly, their will to keep going. Unfortunately, the entire frontier was left massacred by this war. And as things are building up, as we are a couple decades after the end of the major frontier wars, there was an area that was mostly untapped, known as the Outlands. And in the Outlands, you had more of a lawless style to it. The resources weren't as plentiful, but there was plenty of space for work and for crime. Cuban Bliss decided that a good way to get everyone rallying behind one banner and to get a little bit less of a Mad Max feel out there is to create a televised blood sport known as what it was originally the Apex Predators mercenary group, the Apex Games. This would be a perfect outlet for all of the anger, either from the war or just from all the different kinds of crime syndicates and groups out here in the Outlands. And it would be stationed in the Outlands, starting off with Kings Canyon as a major way to get different kinds of people to go in, fight for whatever they want, money, fame, personal reasons, and overall televise it across the Outlands and the frontier to make it not only something that's profitable, but a caustic. And that's where our story takes place. Everyone has a call sign: Wraith, Gibraltar, Caustic, Octane. These aren't their real names. These are simply their names in the Apex games. And a lot of people ask, if this is a blood sport, do Apex Legends actually die? Hasn't really totally been answered yet, but we're assuming they're like cloned, or these are clones that go out, they fight in the arena, and of course then once they're dead, they go to like a respawn chamber and they still have all the memories. The thing is that like, even if there's very little risk of dying, which apparently is only little risk, because apparently it does happen, regardless, you're still getting shot, burned, electrocuted, and bludgeoned to death every single time. That trauma alone would get most people very uninterested in being in the Apex games, but not for these legends. No, that's why they are called Apex Legends. And with that, we have our first Apex legend.
I am owed no gratitude.
Bloodhound. Amazing.
Bloodhound is a tracker, a hunter, and someone who decides to combine both the old ways of hunting with the new technology that they find. Orphaned after a meltdown at a facility killed both of their parents, they were taken in by their uncle Arthur. He wished to relearn the old ways and reject the modern technology that caused their parents' death to begin with. Arthur was killed during the final trial of Bloodhound's spiritual acceptance, so to speak, and through the use of both modern and old ways, Bloodhound was able to kill the monster that killed their uncle and therefore re-embrace both the old and the new technology. What is their real name? We don't know. Why do they fight?
That's amazing.
We don't know. But regardless, they are a mysterious, interesting tracking character that have joined the Apex games for one reason or another, and is very, very good at their job. Bloodhound's passive lets them see anything and everything, where people are going, where they've been, if they've done stuff, if they've taken a shit in the corner. It doesn't matter, they're a hunter.
Yeah, the only thing that is, man, the ping can give you away sometimes, man. And when I'm playing with randoms, man, they'll spam that, and sometimes you don't want them to know because they can see, if they're looking in your direction, you ping out, they can see where you're at too. So it's got that, take and give kind of aspect to it. But Bloodhound is awesome.
Their active lets them see stuff through walls, different kinds of players, traps, etc. And their ultimate lets them do that X10 while also schmooving at Mach 5 and having a much lower cooldown of their active.
I love the ultimate,
and
the Bloodhound.
Enemies, because, why not?
Fast.
Bloodhound is for the info gatherer who wants to fight. It's very hard to be snuck up on when you're playing Bloodhound. Bloodhound is very good at tracking enemies, knowing where they're going, knowing how they're going, and also stopping any kind of flank in their tracks. That Q, you just pull out your wrist, you go... No one's gonna sneak up on you. Okay, you're the hunter. The hunter does not get hunted. There is no team that will say no to a Bloodhound.
Unless your Bloodhound is a noob.
There is no reason to say no to a Bloodhound. Because not only are you good at tracking,
very good
not
at
only
ranked.
can you see people through walls, but then when it's time, you can just call upon the Allfather and then just get this surge through your veins and move faster, see people through God knows what, and overall just become a slight demigod for a short period of time. Bloodhound, when you hear that loud just screech noise with their ultimate, it's a little scary, as if the
Yeah, that's when you know you gotta take them out fast.
blazing red eyes wasn't enough. You're the team player, you're the info gatherer, and you're the person who can maybe 1v3 with that ultimate if you're good enough. Bloodhound and Bloodhound mains are definitely people who know every which way about them. They'll never be outflanked, they'll never be flanked, and they'll always be ready to turn on the jets and completely massacre a team.
Unless they're noobs.
Can't help but to compliment
or randoms.
Myself.
Oh god, Gibby. Gibby is so OP, man, especially now. Being able to throw the shield down still and pick up the character and stuff, and then having the guard shield, man. In arenas, he is he's kind of, I feel cheap if I ever use him. I've used him a couple times in, but it's so not fair up close.
Makoa Gibraltar is a big man with a big heart and a bit of a wild side. He's part of Ceres, which is the Search and Rescue Association of Solace. Basically, he's the kind of guy you get whenever you are in a bad spot and you need someone to help you out. His whole character is helping people. A long time ago, he and his BFG, that's boyfriend Gibraltar, took his dad's motorcycle, and by took I mean stolen, and then crashed it after a giant mudslide happened, which forced both of his parents to help get him out, with his father losing an arm in the process. Ever since then, he's been feeling guilty about that, and he has dedicated his entire life to helping people. A lot of his friends, however, have gone out to the Apex games for whatever reason, but never ever ended up returning, and he can't stomach that. So Gibraltar, to satisfy a little bit of his wild side, but most importantly, to make sure his friends stay protected at all times, has joined the Apex games to make sure that he can still help people, but in his own way. Passive-wise, Gibby's got Rainbow Six PTSD. Big old gun shield when you aim down sights. Fuck Blackbeard. His active is a giant dome shield that you can throw out, blocks all kinds of bullets, projectiles, and everything the like, but it will not stop players, and you can revive your boys a little bit faster when you're in it. And also, his ultimate is a defensive bombardment, because apparently an orbital airstrike is defensive. Also, Gibby's a big man with a big personality, so he takes 15% less damage, and, he can't be slowed by bullets, because why not? Gibraltar is a defensive legend through and through. You can't have a bad time playing Gibraltar. His personality is too much fun. He's a big, boy, and he takes a ton of damage, and he helps out your team in all sorts of ways. He's always got something for the job, whether that's taking some bullets with either his fortified ability or the big old gun shield, whether that's reviving your teammates easier with a gigantic barrier, well, it's just using that barrier.
Imagine if he was like fast, like freaking.
Hey, that person over there, I don't want them to be in there.
So
they're not going to be there no more. Gibby is for those who want to help the team. Not through sneaky tricks, not through weird information
He's just
gathering,
definitely support.
and not even through trying to heal other people in their own way.
He's very good in ranked
Gibby
as
helps
well.
the team by taking his big chunky body and throwing it in the way of the bullets or in various ways such as that. The man blasts you with a gun shield, he throws a dome out, revives you, eats a Loco Moco in one bite, and he's ready for more.
He probably does do
Gibraltar
that.
mains are all that. They're there for their friends, they're tough, they know it, and they know how to flex it. They know that the entire time they're downing your health bar, you're going through 15% damage reduction, an arm shield, a dome, and the sheer size of this man's cock that is
I was
only
like, why is it like going in and out of like 1080p? There we
always
go.
got-
Looks better.
and everything to like, but it will not stop players, and you can revive your boys a little bit faster when you're in it. And also, his ultimate is a defensive bombardment, because apparently an orbital airstrike is defensive. Also, you know, Gibby's a big man with a big personality, so he takes 15% less damage, and, you know, he can't be slowed by bullets, because why not? Gibraltar is a defensive legend through and through. You can't have a bad time playing Gibraltar. His personality is too much fun. He's a big boy.
Oh, you
and he
get
takes
pissed,
a
though.
ton of damage,
I get
and he
pissed when
helps
I have
out
to
your
play
team
against
in
a
all
Gibby
sorts
player.
of ways. He's always got something.
You go see something funny, like, so go to my TikTok, which is in my link, man. I got a video of this. I end up knifing this freaking Gibraltar with my kunai with my wraith before, like, I didn't have any bullets. It was just funny. So you would have to see it.
Something for the job, whether that's taking some bullets with either his fortified ability or the big old gun shield, whether that's reviving your teammates easier with a gigantic barrier, well, it's just using that barrier in all kinds of ways. Or, you know, hey, that person over there, I don't want them to be in there. They're not going to be there no more. Gibby is for those
that's
who want
nice.
to help the team. Not through sneaky tricks, not through weird information gathering, and not even through trying to heal other people in their own way. No, Gibby helps the team by taking his big chunky body and throwing it in the way of the bullets or in various ways such as that.
It's true. And an annoying team setup, man, used to be like a freaking Gibby, a freaking Watson, and a Caustic. Oh my god, it was. Or it was either that, or it was like a Caustic, Bangalore, and a freaking Gibby. It was just, and they would throw all the ultimates at once. It was ridiculous.
The man blasts you with a gun shield, he throws a dome out, revives you, eats a Loco Moco in one bite, and he's ready for more. Gibraltar mains are all that. They're there for their friends, they're tough, they know it, and they know how to flex it. They know that the entire time they're downing your health bar, you're going through 15% damage reduction, an arm shield, a dome, and the sheer size of this man's cock that is only matched by the size of his personality.
Thank you. You made me
Lifeline is
just a
OP
little bit
now
better.
too.
Lifeline
And squads
or AJ
especially.
Shea is
Oh
the
my
only
god.
person that has that
Such
sheer
clutch.
level of kindness that Gibraltar has, but in a different way. She was the daughter of two very wealthy war profiteers, and when she found out why they had so much money, she immediately bailed to become a hippie and join the Peace Corps. Basically, she's in the Apex version of a Peace Corps, a humanitarian organization meant to help those who are in need, whether natural disasters or poverty, etc. You know what I'm talking about. Why is she in the Apex games? Well, you know, the people who sign up for the Apex games aren't entirely innocent, and they know what they signed up for. And, you know, maybe AJ Shea might have a little bit of a wild side, but if she can go and use all that money she gets as an Apex legend to fund the humanitarian organization, she has no qualms with that. All the money she makes, she gives it right back to the Peace Corps, right there to help as many
That's nice
more
of her.
people as she possibly can. And, you know,
I didn't know that.
she gets to have a little fun while doing it. Passively, she creates this big old wall whenever she's reviving somebody. And
I just want to say they've gotten rid of that since like the first I think they did get rid of that freaking shield, like honor. They still let you like throw it down, pick people up, but God, it was broken. Like the shield was so broken. Like people probably loved it, but it was a pain in the butt.
direction that she's facing.
play
Her
against.
active is a little drone that can revive people as well and can actually regenerate your health if possible. And also her ultimate, giant lifeline care package. Huge thing from the sky, giving you supplies and upgrades that you might need. Lifeline is a support character through and through, and while
Very good
Gibby
character,
throws
though.
himself in the
I
way
ain't
of the
gonna hate on
bullets,
Lifeline.
good old Lifeline does all the other medic type stuff. She's the dedicated healer class, the dedicated reviving class, and hell, if you need some more gear, why not? She is a fine
People say they
addition,
don't like
a
the
great
Spitfire.
addition
Look
to
at
every
this,
single
man.
team. So
That
why does every
Spitfire
single
is
person who
broken
has to
still,
play
in my
her
opinion.
act
It's so
like
good.
such chodes? This is the selfless character, the healer, the one who gives all of her money to humanitarian
It's the one that you
organizations,
see. If you
and
see
yet
a
the
team
people who
has
play
her,
are the sweatiest, most
if you see somebody with Lifeline, take her out.
addition to every single team. So why does every single person who has to play her act like such chodes? This is the selfless character, the healer, the one who gives all of her money to humanitarian organizations, and yet the people who play her are the sweatiest, most try-hard, most ridiculously toxic people out there. It's kind of funny though, because
I figured he was gonna
play
say that about
Lifeline,
Wraith.
she's like the definition of call an ambulance, but not for me, as she's doing all of her healing, but then she rolls up with a tiny little hitbox, sliding down her knees with a peacekeeper, going Mach 5, one-tapping me in the head and using the money that she made to kill me to go build schools in Detroit. I don't want to be used for Detroit. Play Lifeline if you want to really, really be kind. You want to be good to people, but if you
Dude,
call
yeah,
yourself a
he's-
Lifeline main, we have truly lost.
Lifeline mains are
Don't
sweaty.
beat yourself up. Leave that to me.
Pathfinder's mains
was a
used to be
joke.
sweaty too.
Pathfinder is a Marvin. It's a robot, basically. He woke 33 years ago with no idea who he was or who made him. And as he's making his way around doing different odd jobs, he thought that the number one most important thing for him is to find out who created him. Working these little odd jobs, he got into a little tussle with some of the local law enforcement. There's a whole cinematic on that. I'm going to paraphrase it really quick, but long story short, via his databanks and all, he was created by Amelia P. We don't know exactly who that is. However, she referred to him as one of the greatest inventions and our Pathfinder. Hence the name. He now serves in the games with this beautiful, bright personality, hoping that whoever created him will
He
see
used to
him
make me mad
big
because
and
he was so
famous
happy all the
and
time.
Go back to see him. Passive-wise, the man can scan survey beacons to find where the next ring is, but more importantly, it actually refills his ultimate cooldown and lowers its overall cooldown for the rest of the game. Pathfinder's active is a big old grapple hook that lets him fling his ass all around the place, and his ultimate is a zip line, allowing you to
Yeah, that's very
zip
handy.
to basically anywhere on the map. Pathfinder, he's got a great personality is what he has. He is positivity incarnate. He is happy to be around. He likes people. He wishes people like him. Some do, some don't. Not important. He shows them the same respect every single time, and it's always hilarious whenever he says something that might be considered rather rude, but he thinks is just the nicest compliment.
Losing isn't fun. That's why I don't do it.
Pathfinder really is that mobile legend. Probably one of the most mobile
He's a
legends
troll.
in the entire game. He has the ability to survey, get to high places, get to low places, fling himself at Mach 7 speeds. He truly is a very fast, very versatile
is
legend
fast.
that can do quite a bit. The grapple is constantly being sent to its limits with all the craziness that it can accomplish. The zip line can be launched in so many different areas, and honestly, there's never a time where having a Pathfinder on your team is ever a bad thing. Pathfinder mains generally know every spot, every nook and cranny that they can use that zip line in. They know exactly how to press Q one time and go from caustic treatment to the damn artillery in one go, because somehow they keep on gaining more distance every time they use that Q, and I don't know how they break the engine that easily. Pathfinder mains
They
really
do
just
it.
took a lot
My
of
buddy,
advice from
I
our
couldn't
man
catch him
Bricky.
with Wraith.
You need to move a little faster than that, son. Speed is life.
They know exactly how to get the most out of their abilities. They are either insane mathematicians or they have way too much space in their head to memorize every single crazy zip line and grapple that they can do. You want to schmoove? You play Pathfinder.
This is what happens when you're not focused.
Wraith,
my girl.
or Renee Hope Blazy? No, yeah, that's what I have. Subject 61137 is also the name. She woke up in a detention facility for the mentally ill ran by the IMC with absolutely no memory of her previous life. And she constantly was berated by other versions of herself speaking in her mind, driving her absolutely insane. Right before she was about to be sedated, another version of herself actually showed up and was telling her to instead trust the voices in her head, as they were other variations of herself from different kinds of dimensions, similar to the one that she was currently talking to. This Wraith's entire goal was to get revenge on the people who wronged her and to also retrieve her memories. So Wraith actually, after escaping and trusting the voices in her head, is entirely dedicated to finding the truth about herself and finding those who wronged her via the Apex games, because after every single game, she's one step closer to the truth. Now, Wraith is a very interesting one because of the Titanfall connections, because in Titanfall, there's actually a pilot known as a phase shift pilot. The Ronin Titan also has a similar ability that allows them to transfer between dimensions for a short period of time to make sure that they don't have any issues. However, these phase shift pilots were always robots. They were always simulacrums, which is a human mind uploaded into a robot body. So considering that Wraith, this is many decades later, can do this to a certain extent with her Q and her portal ability, well, it begs the question that actually Wraith might have been the first or one of the first tests of a human-based phase shift pilot gone very fucking wrong, which could mean that she was actually a pilot, like a military pilot way back in the day. But obviously, if she still retained that training, she would slaughter everyone in Apex Legends. So either she lost it due to her memory loss, or she was a different kind of pilot, perhaps a scientific one. As for Wraith herself, her passive allows her to have people whispering to her whenever danger is afoot, whenever
I love that. I just feel like they've nerfed her phase too much. Like the animation, I mean, I guess give it that, but I feel like the trail is way too noticeable. Like it needs a little more balance somehow.
someone is about to snipe her, or perhaps a trap is around the corner, she'll have.
As you can see right where you're going, that man defeats the purpose to me. But,
her active allows her to enter into a different dimension and be completely untargetable, but kind of seen with a little trail as she moves across the terrain.
Little trail.
Ultimate is a giant two-way portal that allows her to, and her teammates as well as the enemies to go back and forth between to allow for some extra movement. Oh, Wraith. Oh, Wraith. I think Wraith probably has a worse name to herself now than she actually deserves, but it's kind of like when you were bullied as a kid and the bully is grown up now and, you know, he's a little bit better, he's going into rehab and everything, but you still just want to twist his nuts because he was just such an asshole. That's Wraith right now. Wraith as a character is actually pretty good. She has a small hitbox, which is of course very helpful, and she's got some good abilities, knowing when you're going to get shot at, being able to maneuver between areas by being untargetable, which is very strong, and that portal provides a lot of flexibility, either to get you into an enemy position, or better yet, to get you out of a bad one. Problem is, for a long time, no one gave a shit about these abilities because you played Wraith entirely because of her small hitbox, and therefore she was able to be used by demigods.
I used her abilities all along.
Very similar to Ashe from Rainbow Six Siege. It's not because the character's abilities are fantastic, it's because the character's got a weird and wonky hitbox, and it allows you to be great with their weapons. Wraith, in terms of the game, is a good offensive legend. The hitbox is still small, and she can still make her way around and move pretty well with everything. And you know what? If you want to be that kind of person and play Wraith, god damn it, God bless you, you do it. But obviously, between the Naruto run, between the fact that it was used by the worst TTV in name people of all time, Wraith mains have a huge stigma of being toxic as fuck, and it is entirely not that false. I think a lot of them have started to move their way off towards Octane and Horizon after Wraith has seen many nerfs, but even so, the name is a little bit tarnished. So if you are going to be a Wraith main, don't leave the moment you get downed. Don't flame your team. Try to fix the name, because as far as I'm concerned, Wraith is a perfectly fine legend, but y'all fucked it up. So yeah.
That's not what Oscar Mike Know what? Never mind.
Bangalore, also known as Anita Williams, is an ex-IMC grunt. And yes, when I say ex-IMC grunt, I am talking about these guys. Which isn't entirely fair because she is a little bit better. She's actually
She's
top of her
way
class.
better than
She's
them.
a very good grunt. She's a good grunt. But, you know, just a reminder the discrepancy between pilots and regular soldiers. She's part of a military family. All 4 of her older brothers, also big military personnel, just like herself. And then during one of the missions, one of their IMC craft went under fire. And then her older brother, Jackie, actually shielded her from the explosion, and a giant piece of the ship was torn up, and he was sucked right out into the vacuum of space,
Dang.
never to be seen again. Ever since then, their ship crash landed, and Bangalore's been looking for work every which way. She still believes that her brother Jackie is still alive, and he's been gone for a decade, and he's just out there somewhere, eventually ready to come home. I don't say, you lady. But her main goal for joining the Apex games is entirely for money. She wants to make enough money to be able to head back to meet her parents once again, to get back to her family, because hiring
she's very
pilots
good, man.
and a
That
ship
smoke is
to
annoying.
send her back to her family is very, very expensive. Also, I mean, I get that this is a little bit after the events of Titanfall 2, but you know, I mean, we talk about Revenant and like Caustic as being really bad guys and all, but Bangalore was part of the organization that was like, whoa, genocide! Not cool, lady. Now, Bangalore's passive allows her to move a lot faster when she is shot or shot
pretty
at.
good with that
Gives her a little bit of
freaking,
extra speed boost to
wingman,
help
though.
out. Her active is a big smoke launcher, does exactly what a smoke launcher does, and her ultimate is this giant rolling thunder. It's a huge car bomb of bombs, which doesn't do a lot of damage, but absolutely
Make 'em back off sometime with it.
Caught in it. Bangalore is your jack of all trades character, as far as I'm concerned. She's your
Especially like if you're inside like a building and you throw it on, you know, you throw it down while you're inside a building, it can get the people off the roof where you're at and give you a better chance to get out.
most vanilla.
Things like that.
But honestly, considering how jack of all trades characters work in so many other games, she's got a decent amount of personality. Her thing with her brother
It
is
used to be OP
she's
Ultimate.
kind of a bitch, but you know, hard ass military person. All of her family has been gone forever and possibly dead, and she's got a little bit of an issue with accepting that. So, you know, you can understand it to a certain extent. But honestly, as far as jack of all trades characters go, she's pretty solid. She's decently fleshed out. A little bit of a speed boost when you're being shot at, which is helpful. It gives you some security and a little bit of strafing. A smoke grenade, which is great at both offense and defense, either covering an escape or covering an advance. And of course, if you want somebody to get the fuck out of here, a bunch of bombs tends to do a damn good job at it. Bangalore also gives you way too much information about way too much crap on the weapons that you ping. She always constantly talks about, oh, this gun is really good at semi-automatic, high power, high velocity, triple shot, 2 to the body, 1 to the head,
Military-wise.
Mozambique here. I don't care, but there's nothing wrong with Bangalore. I
Might
always
help
say
new
that
players.
Bangalore is the best starting character for new
Yep.
players. She is good at her job. There's nothing weird or gimmicky about her. And also, you know, in the beginning, you know, pinging those things is actually pretty helpful for new players. So I appreciate she's there. I wish she would stop telling me what a Mozambique does every single time. But besides that, get your smokes, get your...
Maybe they should give you like the player option to turn some of that off. Like, you know, be like, you know, an option to turn off after you're experienced or whatever, something, you know what I mean?
bombs. Bangalore's a good
switch.
choice for those new players.
It's simple,
Oh
really.
god, Caustic. Used to
I'm
hate
just
him,
better
bro.
than you.
Caustic, or Dr. Alexander Maxwell Knox the
He's
third,
good,
Esquire,
but he's
heir
annoying.
to the throne of long fucking names, is a scientist, loosely. He works for Humbert Labs, the pesticide company, and they help provide pesticides for all kinds of plants in the frontier. And considering, you know, how much crops you gotta grow and all these different kinds of plants and all different kinds of pests, you're really going to end up needing quite an increase in the power of the pesticides. So Mr. Caustic is really keen on figuring out how to make stronger and stronger pesticides. But of course, just some regular tissue isn't quite enough to really show the effects of these gases. He needs something living. So for a while, he toiled with his experiments until, for once, the corporation did the right thing, and the main chief at Dr. Humbert Labs decided to go confront him about, like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? This confrontation led with the entire lab completely in flames. The chief guy of Dr. Humbert Labs
Killed him.
dead as fuck, and Caustic presumed dead as well. Of course, now Mr. Caustic is in the Apex games, trying to find newer and more willing subjects to test his interesting gases on. Passively, Caustic is immune to his own stank, and he also doesn't have any vision impairment, and he can see enemies that are inside of his fart clouds. His Q is a trap that's placed, you walk next to it, giant cloud of gas, it smells bad, hurts you, does health damage, blinds you, can't sprint, all the debilitating factors. And his ultimate is just a big canned fart grenade that you just, whoa! Caustic also has that big chunk energy that Gibraltar has, so 15% less damage and also immune to slowing bullets. Caustic is an interesting character. For a long time, he was pretty mediocre.
Annoying,
actually,
but good.
probably the worst legend in the game. And then he became good, and then he became overpowered as hell. And then they just recently nerfed him, which everyone says he's trash now. I disagree. Like, boo-hoo, your tactical can't 100 to 0 somebody. That's not the point of the game. That's not the point of Caustic. Caustic is a manipulation character. Caustic makes it so that if you're in any hallway, any door, any enclosed space, he makes you very unhappy that you're there with a Caustic. Caustic is about taking the enemies and forcing them to go down the sadistic rabbit hole that you've led them through. You just love those tight corners. You love those enclosed spaces. You gotta take everyone down to Bunker and King's Canyon, or perhaps one of the more frightening areas on
with that character,
like the giant carrier ship. There are so many areas where Caustic can just set up a giant maze of traps, and that debilitation, that vision, that sprint, all of that stuff, it's not about the damage, it's about the fact that they just can't do anything when you're there causing them issues. That's what makes Caustic really good. It's to force people to move around areas. If you like manipulating enemies, if you like making sure that they go where you want them to go, not where they get the choice to, that's Caustic. Caustic mains know every corner, every single thing where they can hide a trap, where they can sneak a little gas bomb. They know exactly that you're gonna move left, and guess what? They've got traps all the way over there, and if you move right, well, that's what that ultimate's for. Caustic is entirely about playing that long game. He's about studying your little prey on the bottom there. Are Caustic mains sadistic? Yes, that's fine. I don't main Caustic. People who do, I keep 6 feet away from them. I'm a social distance from that stank. But honestly, Caustic is a really interesting move manipulation character. The gas doesn't do as much damage as it used to.
He's a good support too.
Cares. The moment someone gets hit by that shit, oh, they are ripe for the picking.
Oh, you gonna cut off the freaking finisher? Come on.
You're going on a journey. A journey through memory.
That slow walk finisher. Look at that.
On the bottom there. Are Caustic mains sadistic? Yes.
Yeah, they are.
That's fine. I don't main Caustic. People who do,
I don't either.
I keep 6 feet away from them. I'm a social distance from that stank. But honestly, Caustic is a really interesting move manipulation character. The gas doesn't do as much damage as it used to. Who cares? The moment someone gets hit by that shit, oh, they are ripe for the picking.
Look at that slow walk.
Yeah, you lost this one, but it has nothing
He put the part. Oh, I love Mirage's attitude, man.
to do with your skills, because, well, I mean, you don't have any, clearly.
Mirage, or Elliot Witt, is the youngest of 4 brothers, born into kind of a slight military family, but only a little bit. His mother actually was the forefront of the holopilot technology that you can see in Titanfall 2, and all of his
go play
brothers
Titanfall
also
2.
served in the Frontier Wars as well. Mirage always has this personality quirk around him, where he's always trying to be the life of the party, Mr. Big Man, everyone look at me, but in reality, that's more so a coping mechanism to cover up some low self-esteem and personal worth being the youngest brother. After all the talk and all the hype and all the silliness, deep down, Mirage truly has a heart of gold. And when all 3 of his brothers never came back from the Frontier Wars, he decided to make money as a bartender for both himself and his mother, constantly looking at the Apex games, thinking to himself, that money, that fame, these are the kind of things that I'd be interested in, but there's no way that I'm gonna leave my mom without any kids. Until a package arrived on its doorstep with a fancy state-of-the-art holo suit and a little letter that said, "Follow your dreams, son. Love, Mom."
That's
and now Mirage is out there.
He's a
Fame,
superstar.
yeah, for money, sure, but really, he's there to be the life of the party, have fun, and make some money for his dear old mother. Mirage's passive allows him to go invisible whenever he's down and create this dramatic as dying decoy right where he went down. He also goes invisible with his teammate when they're being revived, and he goes invisible whenever he is bringing someone back with a drop ship. His active sends out a little clone in one direction that can mimic his movements if he so wishes, and anytime it is shot, it'll show on the map exactly where it is being shot from. And also his ultimate sends out like 5 separate Mirage clones that all mimic his motions in like a spiral style pattern while making him go invisible for about 1 second in the beginning. My bamboozle boy, bamboozle here, bamboozle. He's my boy.
He's cool.
My boy, I love.
If you're an Apex player, I mean, I've never played Mirage, but I feel like with his personality, you have to like him. You just do. I mean, he's just funny.
Love playing Mirage. A little bit of trivia for all of you, okay? Back in Titanfall 2 days, if you used the Holopilot, a lot of people consider Holopilot to be the worst choice of all the tacticals. But if you used it and you properly killed somebody through the use of the Holopilot, it was customary that either via mic or perhaps over the text or on a Reddit forum or whatever, you said, got a good bamboozle. It was called bamboozling people. So you know what the Apex guys did? They said, hey, we like that part of our community. Now we have a whole character that says bamboozle because they love saying bamboozle too much. And I think that maybe it was a little bit of the monkey's paw because holy Christ, does he say bamboozle a lot. But you know what? They keep spicing it up with the way he trips over his words, the way I trip over my words, and it's just a damn fun time. I love my man Mirage because the thing about Mirage is that is he good? Not really. Will he ever be good? Probably not, because there is no metric to determine.
He can do some clutch bamboozles though and pickups, man, at times.
How Mirage is good or not, because Mirage is not only heavily involved with the skill of the player who plays him, but you can't quantify tricking somebody. Movement legends, you know, the ability to move around the map and get to places, and AD strafing perhaps, or damage dealing abilities. These are all things that be quantified, but you can't quantify tricking somebody because that entirely relies on the opponent making mistakes, and how much of the chance they have to make that mistake is entirely dependent on how good you are as a Mirage player.
It's true, it's
so
a
in a
skill.
sense, Mirage could be great and terrible at the same
I used to have a friend, man. I don't know if he quit playing Apex, but me and him just, don't talk anymore. I don't know. But anyways, he used to main Mirage, man. He was filthy with them. Like, he could do some crazy things. Like, he'd throw the ultimate and run in a circle with the ultimate and just mess people up. Dude, it was crazy to see how good he was with him.
Time. That's the problem, is there's no way to truly quantify that. However, the thing about Mirage is that there is nothing more satisfying, okay? There is no such cock-throbbing ecstasy that is properly bamboozling somebody and killing them, okay?
That is true.
You're there. You're standing there. There's a big-ass chunky rock in front of you. There's an enemy on the other side. You fire a clone to the left and you walk to the right. And here's the options, right? Okay, so now the opponent has a 50-50% chance to shoot the right one. If you're on equal terms and they shoot the wrong one, you're gonna win that gunfight. If they don't shoot the wrong one,
let's talk Cash App.
That's funny.
Want to custom design your own masterpiece of a debit card?
well, you're back and forth depending on weapons and all that kind of stuff. But that option is absolutely there and prominent. The problem is that if the opponent is smart enough and doesn't attack any of these kinds of decoys, well, then you're just a legend with literally zero ability and also nothing to help your team, because Mirage is unfortunately a little bit of a selfish legend. He doesn't really have any major things to help the team out besides that invisibility ability.
I feel like one day they'll give him some buffs and change up some things in a different way. Or they'll make the clones work different to make them more realistic or something, but not like OP.
When it comes down to reviving people. Getting 3...
Because I don't fall for the bamboozles too much. I fall for a couple, but... because sometimes I would turn and see it there, but if you see it just standing there, you already know.
Kills and 7th place through proper bamboozling gives you such a massive high, more than getting 10 kills in 1st place. I kid you not. It is all about that fun factor. It is all about that satisfaction of truly bamboozling somebody, okay? There are few things truly like it, and that's what you're playing Mirage for. You're not playing Mirage because he's good.
Bricky loves Mirage.
In a sense, He's not. You're not playing Mirage because he's easy, because he is absolutely not easy. He takes a ton of practice and figuring out other players, because you have to play your opponent, not just play the game. And it's like, you know, the way to say it, I don't know. It's
See, that right there helps a lot. What
tripping
you just
over your
did.
words is the Mirage thing. Shut up. Fuck you. It's not about winning, and Mirage mains know this. I know this because I'm a Mirage main, okay? It's not about winning. It's about styling on you. You can leave with the gold trophy. That's fine. I'm leaving with your pride. Thank you, everyone, for watching part 1 of Every Legend in a Nutshell.
Hey, man. Great video, though, man. We'll have to check out part 2 as well. Like I said, I love the Apex games, man. I love it. Great game. One of my favorite games now. Like I said, my favorite Battle Royale for sure. They said I'm a Wraith main. They said I'm looking for people to play ranked with. Man, he did good going through the Lord, man. Like I said, if you're an Apex player or you haven't, or you're thinking about getting an Apex, you should, like I said, start out arenas and start out in the firing range. Go through the guns, try them out, you know, see which ones you like. Practice hitting the shots on the stuff because, man, that helps the tracking. And then the abilities, find which character's abilities you like, get used to them. You know, I would stick with the character, pick one you like, stick with it for a while, get used to the abilities before you switch around. That's my opinion. And then once you get used to Apex, go back and try Titanfall 2, man. You'll be like, wow, this is where some of the stuff came from if you didn't play Titanfall 2. So, guys, awesome video by Bricky. Make sure you support the original content, like I said. He did great. We'll leave the original link down below. And, guys, thank you for subscribing to my channel, leaving a like button, and leaving a comment. And we'll see you guys in the next video.